Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video we are going to be talking about the current Syringe wheel and the event, effectively I'm doing air quotes here, the event that surrounds this. If we go into the premiere section of the wheel, if it ever loads, there we go, token section, as you can see, Syringe token wheel. You see I've got 2 pulls. This is because I did buy the offer that cost me 89 pence. In terms of the low end offer, I think it's reasonably well worth to do the very low end offer. 1% chance of getting effectively a Doc Stevens. A little bit less, it'll be a little bit less than that because there's 2 promoted characters in there. We don't get the breakdown between those 2 characters, and this is what I really want to talk about. You know, if you do a lot of pulls, you've got the guarantee. We'll look at that first in the museum, and everything's taking a long time to load right now. I'm not sure what's going on. These bloody shirts, it's not the bloody shirts that we can make, as a lot of people are pointing out. If you get 20,000 of these, you can get Doc Stevens, and this is where the issue comes in, because within the wheel odds, it does not break down how many bloody shirts you can get from each pull, and there is a lot of questions being asked. Is this allowed? This has been done for a very long time with other wheels as well. Obviously 20,000 is a lot, but we don't. If they drop in 1,000s, it's 20 pulls. If they drop in 10s, you know, we're looking at a lot more pulls. If we look at the recruits and rewards section, we go to I think Guo is currently the promoted character. We also have the same situation with his cards, the collection items. It has an odds of how much these are going to drop, which is 25%, but it doesn't say within that 25% what the variance odds are of those card drops. Now, it's very questionable whether that's actually allowed at the moment. In terms of, these odds were originally implemented because Apple put restrictions on applications on their store. If you wanted to be promoted on the iTunes store, you had to have odds in your drops, you had to have odds in your premium sections. And the same, I think, went with Google. Google basically followed suit. And I think that was a great change, but this one is very questionable. Every other game that I've seen play, when it's odds within odds, especially when it comes to a broken down section, like for instance, if you were to pull a legendary recruit, as much as there are different legendary recruits you can get, it is 100% going to be a legendary recruit. It isn't going to be a partial part of it. There isn't a variance in terms of the amount that you can get in there. It is 100% going to be a legendary recruit, you know. But with this, the collection item, it's not the case. If we look at the actual wheel itself for this event, there's only 3 odds, I believe, or 2 odds. It should just be 2 odds. It's 99% for the collection items, so very high for the collection items. And the 5-star ascendables is going to be Dr. Stevens or Mercer. But within that 99%, there's also should be a breakdown. It should tell us. I'm clicking everywhere. There's nothing that tells me how many of those collection items I can get as a minimum, how many I can get as a maximum, what's the odds of that breakdown. Now, in other games, like I've said, they do this. A game which I play on the side is The Walking Dead No Man's Land, obviously another Walking Dead game. Quite familiar to me in terms of the characters, quite easy to just get into in terms of being attached and all that sort of stuff. And when we go into the pull section in here, as you can see, it's the radios. You click the I above the promoted thing, and it tells you the odds, exactly the same situation. 15% of the promoted character, then there's a breakdown of all the other heroes that you can get, and then there's survivors. Survivors are just full characters, not shards. The rest are shards, but full characters on a star value. Now, this is where this game gives you the full odds, and other games do the same. So this is the breakdown on what you're going to get, and then within those, there's survivor rarity, as you can see, 3, 4, 5, and then it gives you a breakdown on the odds of the survivor rarity. Then within the hero amount, in terms of if you pull a hero, it tells you the percentage chance of getting what type of shard. So you've got 32, 128, and 256. Obviously, the more shards you get, the better in terms of being able to rank your character up. It works exactly the same as cards for S-class, you know, characters, or like cones for Priya, for instance. It's 256 cones for Priya, that sort of thing, 128. But there's no breakdown like that in Road to Survival, and that's a big deal. So I'll do a pull just so you can understand how it works. Do a pull, and I'm going to get 1 legendary pull here because it goes pink, and I get 256, which was 1%, I believe. I got the top rewards, and that's actually pretty good. I'll take that. I do like Maggie as well, which is, I'm very happy at this. I think I can rank her up. Was that 1%? I actually just pulled the 1% luck in this game, and you know I'm not going to pull it in the in RTS. You just know. And it works exactly the same as Road to Survival in terms of just rank up characters. You know, in this it's slightly different. If you play Marvel Strike Force, you understand how the star system works, that sort of thing. And that's the issue within RTS, is that it's not broken down within that 99%. The range of the bloody shirts dropping is between 50 and 2.5 thousand, and obviously this isn't going to be even odds across the board. This is going to be much lower odds to get the high end, and it's going to be much higher odds to get the lower end, and that is, I'm pretty sure, required information to know when you're spending money on the tokens that are required to like pull on this. You know, the coins, whatever. From the Guo wheel for the promo S-class characters, those collectibles we need to know. Now they have brought in choice boxes, which is great. So a lot of the roadmap stuff has been fixed in that way. But they did have obviously crates before where when they drop from roadmaps, now we've got this. We can choose, which is great. So you 100% know it's not RNG based, but when it is an RNG based crate like this, there's no odds on non-bought stuff. And personally, I've advocated for just transparency in this, in terms of just making it better for players. Now, when it comes to the actual offers themselves, these tokens are not cheap. There is one cheap offer which I bought already. Like I said, it was less than £1, so it'll be around $1 probably in America, and you can get 2 pulls, 2 chances of Dr. Stevens. I bought it in both my regions, but I've heard of people having to do around about $70 to $100 worth of pulls to get Doc Stevens. But if they're dropping in 50s and 100s, which is not listing there, but that is what they're dropping in, you could need potentially 190 to 350 pulls to actually get the character from the museum and not be lucky on the wheel. So there is a high potential of masses of pulls required. You can get the 2.5Ks on the drops as well, and we're going to just do the 2 pulls in each of my regions just to see what I can get. Obviously Doc Stevens is pretty much the only reason you'd pull on this wheel. I've got Merce already, and I don't really care for the bloody shirts. There are some other collections for trainers and stuff, but it's Doc Stevens or nothing, 1% chance, and and like I said, even there, we don't know what the chances are between those 2 characters. There's a second character in here. It could be, 99% again for Mercer, and then 1% again for Dr. Stevens. So the likeliness of getting Dr. Stevens could be extremely low. We just don't know. It's not transparent here, and it actually, I'm pretty sure, like I've said before, it's required to be. So I'm going to pull on Doc Stevens himself, and we'll see what you get. It's most likely going to be 2 batches of shirts, and it's going to be shirts of 115 and 74. And this obviously is nothing when it comes to the 20k. That is 1% of the 20k that I've just pulled. Let me see. 1%. That cost me $1. So effectively, that could be $100 at this point. Over $100. If I was to pull at the same rate, we just don't know the odds, and that's the only issue I have. I'm going to go over to my other regions to see what we can get there as well, though. In the next region, I'm just going to pull straight away and see what we can get. Oh, it might just instantly give it to me. It's been a bit laggy. We have had some maintenance, so hopefully it actually shows me the pulls. Shirts and shirts. Oh, we get enough to get something. Is this a choice box that we get? I'm not really sure. No, it isn't RNG, but they do the breakdown here because I think they had to. So yeah, that's decent. So we get something. Very, very low odds. Very questionable if this is actually a requirement or not. I guess I'd probably have to contact Apple and Google to get a full bit of information, and I may do that just because this is very consistent now with the S-Class character shards, that they're not showing odds breakdown of those shards like other games are. So I thought I'd bring this to your attention. In terms of the event itself, I personally avoid this. It doesn't look good, just based on the fact that you don't know how much you could get. At least with 100 pulls, while it may cost a lot, you're guaranteed to get that character. It is 100% guarantee. After 100 pulls, you're going to get that character. You can save up coins that you get from other sources. You can maybe top it up a little bit with bought coins. You can do it with like your monthly pass or whatever. And once you get enough to do 100 pulls, you're guaranteed that promoted character, which is what I'm doing right now. And as you can see, I'm very close, 18.4k towards, I think it's the 20.8 that you need, or 20.6. I think it's 0.6. Okay, you need 20.6. No, 20.8. It's 20.8. 20.8. and I've got a guaranteed character, and it'll most likely be an S-class character for me. But do tell me if you decided, hey, you know, I want Dr. Stevens that bad, I'm going to go in with these shirts. How many pulls did it take? How much money did you spend? There are some featured section offers as well where it comes to these, I think, I'm not sure. Is it this one? Yeah. So you can get quite a lot in there. That's actually pretty cheap, 199 coins, and you can get like effectively a 1 pull, a 2 pull, or a 4 pull. And again, the odds are broken down in here. Pretty decent odds in that as well. So this is where it seems decent, but it's the actual wheel itself which is really, really questionable. And I hope they actually fix that going forward, because that shouldn't be a thing in my opinion. But hey, do tell me what you think about the event. That's it in my video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.